Hey everybody, and welcome back to another video. And today we're gonna be taking a look at the new 75th anniversary limited edition Cinderella doll. So let's go! Bibbidi bobbidi boo! And before we start, I'm Chaymie and I like to make toy videos here on my channel, so make sure you like, subscribe, and ring the notification bell if you would like to stay tuned for more toy video content. So I also got the commemorative 75th anniversary Cinderella key as well for 20 Singapore dollars. Back in the day, I remember we used to get these keys for free, like with the doll. And it's funny because the Disney Store Singapore did announce that the key could be claimed for free if you make a minimum of like $50 or $70 purchase or something, but only after the doll had sold out. So it's like very on purpose. They didn't want all of the people getting the doll to get the key for free, so they waited until the doll was gone to give the key away for free. So like, I got my eyes on you, Disney Store. Moving on to the doll, first up, the packaging. I do have to say they went all out on the packaging for Cindy, our girl. I love that the box also has the front two pillars on the cardboard, just like the older boxes. All the patterns on the box are metallic foil and they're silver, so they're very reflecty. And she is a limited edition of 5,230. I'm getting to wonder why the specific little additional numbers. Why not just 5,000? Why not just 5,300? Why 5,230? It's not just her. It's on most dolls now recently, so I need to dig into this. And I love that her 75th anniversary emblem is incorporated into the actual box design instead of just a sticker on the plastic window like previous anniversaries. And it's not just a print, it's metallic foil and it's embossed. On the back, I do love the little shoe on the pillow. And it's a win for the copywriters because it does have a nice long descriptive copy on the back of the box. The Cinderella 75th title on the back is also embossed. Alright, now it's time to take her out. Just like how it started with Tiana, the plastic windows now have an additional little segment that hugs the cardboard on the back. And the same metallic foil patterns on the box are also printed on the actual plastic window itself. And here is my certificate of authenticity, and mine is number 5,195, which is quite close to the end, and that is what I've been noticing with all the dolls that I get from Disney Store Asia, is that they tend to be on the higher end of the numbers. Alright, now we're just gonna take one final look to admire her in her original box posing, and then we're gonna get the scissors out. Oh wait, I do like to point out that the front part of the skirt is not tied down to the box, so that even for non-deboxers, you can easily just lift up her skirt to admire her glass slippers. And she's out of the box. So the first thing I'm noticing is how the dress folds are naturally happening. I love it when dolls' dresses do that. It just mimics actual fabric and the weightiness of real fabric dresses, you know, and I'm already in love with it. And we're just gonna do a quick 360 overview of Cindy, and she looks so good. I can already tell we're gonna have so much fun looking into the details. There was also this nice little surprise on the background of the box. There is a carriage, a pumpkin carriage hidden in behind her dress. And it actually is flossed, not flossed, glossed. Jeez. So she surprisingly has the same face sculpt that they have been using on Dear Cindy for quite some time, but the way it's painted here, I think they always paint her kind of softer, so this vibrant kind of lipstick and her makeup really makes her face sculpt pop. Like, I couldn't even recognize that it was the same face sculpt before. And I just really love the makeup palette too. I mean, I'm a sucker for red lips, so that's already a win in my book. And I love the sparkly shivery, oh my god. I'm recording this at 1 a.m. in the middle of the night, so my brain is stopping working. It's very shimmery, and I love that kind of brownish plum color that they got mixed into her eyeshadow. And I also really love the feathered effect that she has in her brows. While we're on her face, we can talk about her jewelry. So she has a beautiful diamond dangly earrings that are attached to like a circular diamond stud that is very reminiscent of her original earrings, but I love that they gave it an additional little dangling part to it, and it's actually made out of like actual gems, not plastic, that are in like metal casing, and they do move, so I love it when dangle earrings on dolls actually dangle. Now for her hair. So I was quite surprised that it's not gelled to the max like the bangs. It's kind of gelled, but it's like it still has a squishiness, a softness to it. It's not hard solid gel, which I really like. The same goes to the bun as well. It's gelled but has some softness to it, like especially these parts that I'm touching right now. I'm not sure if it's intended to be that way or my particular doll just didn't have enough gel, but either way, it's a win for me. Moving slightly down, we also got her iconic black choker, and it's actually tied on the back like a little ribbon, and I thought it was just gonna be a good old ribbon, but it's actually a velvet material. And I love that they gave the choker a little spin by turning it into a ribbon that actually goes all the way down to her hips. Now we move on to her dress. So for her bodice, I love the neckline. I don't actually know how to call it, but it's like a mini V shape neckline, I suppose. There's a little dip in the middle, and I just love the sparkles on the gems. Like usually when they do gems on these dolls, it tends to be kind of dull, kind of plasticky looking rhinestones, but they look like actual crystals. They give off so much iridescence, so much color, and so much sparkle. They catch light really well. While I was making this review, I ended up just kind of staring at her because of how pretty they are. In terms of embroidery, she does have two pieces near the neckline, and for the middle part there is a sheer material hiding underneath as well to give a little bit of modesty. Cindy don't want to show no cleavage. The back of the bodice don't have the gems, but the material that they used still gave enough shimmer and enough sparkle. I think there are metallic threads in there that still gives off magic on the back as well. She also has these white pleated sleeves here, and interestingly, the rest of the sleeve is actually not attached to that tiny sleeve. It's attached to the bodice of the dress. But the actual material of the rest of the sleeves, it does look magical because it's very shimmery, but it's more on like a plasticky kind of side, you know? And it does look like it's gonna be very fragile because I can already see frays happening. But from a visual standpoint, I love the way the lines run through it, so it's like giving magic. Okay, more jewelry. So she does have two matching diamond bracelets that are exactly the same as her diamond dangly earrings. Because of the fact that there are actual little crystal gems in there, they also do give off a lot of sparkle and shine, and they are stitched to the end of the sleeves. Originally, I thought they were just stitched there to keep them in place during shipping and whatnot, but upon closer inspection, they're actually supposed to be there. The bracelets technically don't have a clasp that put them together, so if you cut them off of the sleeves, they will just fall off, unless you glue them together or make a clasp for them. The top and the skirt are two separate pieces. They attach with Velcro on the back, and the skirt also has this silver belt section, so it transitions from the top into the dress a bit more seamlessly. I also just noticed the lines going across the bodice. I love that too. It gives off a wrapped effect. So her skirt is made out of 3 different layers. We have the main white part with the embroideries, and then we got this sheer layer, and then finally we have a satin silver layer tying up everything underneath. And also she has a fishnet petticoat that keeping the dress poofed up. The texture of the main white part is really interesting. I thought it was just going to be the usual satin material, but it has a bit of texture into it. Like, look at here. I'm not very good with fabrics. I don't know what it exactly is, but I love that. And I do love the take of embroideries on her dress. They look like the magic swirls created by the fairy godmother's wand. It's almost like they're mimicking those swirls from the movie into her dress, so I thought that was a really creative approach to take. On the back of the dress though, it does not have embroideries, unfortunately. I do like that the embroideries don't just abruptly stop, at least they kind of trail off with the swirls, so you know, that's something. But I do have to say, she does have a lot of fabric, as in like they didn't cop out on the fabric this time. The dress has volume. I'm a peplum person, so when Disney girls have peplums, I always live for it. And I love that for this particular one, they just made the peplum just go way longer from the movie. So it's just like basing off of what the movie's design is, but expanding upon it, I suppose, in like a very organic way that still made sense. So I like that. Sometimes I don't like changing things for the sake of changing, but this one, I love the approach. Next layer is the sheer fabric layer. So this fabric, unfortunately, does kind of go back to a little bit playline. It's one of those stiff, just kind of materials, but it does give off some sparkle and some sheens into it. So it works really well against the plain silver layer underneath because they work really great when you just layer them on top of each other. And again, I'm just trying to show off the folds and the pleats of the dress that's actually happening. So that only happens when you have enough fabric to go around. Because if you cop up on the fabric and the cutting of the dress and the skirt shape, it'll just look like one round blob. But here it actually looks like, feels like a dress. So thank you, Disney. For her undergarments, she has a fishnet petticoat and it's 2-layered. One is very long all the way to the feet and another one is just around her hip area. So she has more hip action underneath those peplums. And additionally, she has 2 more little side cushions here on either side of her hip as well, in between the skirt layers to give more volume on the hips. And I love this approach. They introduced that with the D23 Jane doll. Jane also had a little bumpette going on in the back of her dress. I do have to say that I appreciate all this effort to actually keep the dress poofed up and not resorting to just stuffing tissue paper underneath. And finally, her shoes. So what is Cinderella without her glass slippers? So we're going to take a look at the new sculpted glass slippers, and they're so beautiful. I love the way that they incorporated the style from the live action movie, where it has more of a crystallized vibe with the facets and the iridescence that it gives off. And I love the shape of the shoe too. I'm sure there's a name for this type of shoe, but I don't know it. But I love that there's a disconnect between the top part and the heel, you know. The heel part kind of just covers on the back on its own. Like, educate me in the comments on this type of shoe name, but I love that. And more importantly, they finally incorporated the little heart onto her shoe, which I really love, because for the longest time I think they just kind of use the same mold of shoe for Snow White, so it always has a bow instead of a heart. So I'm really glad that finally the heart is there. It was one of my favorite parts when I was a kid watching the movie. And it's really good that the shoe fits nicely on her feet. So I was worried that when I took off the plastic elastic, it would keep falling off, but no, it actually fits very snugly onto her feet and does not fall off very easily. But my theory is that this girl purposely dropped her shoe on the steps for the prince to find. Good sis Cindy had a plan all along. Okay, now for the articulation, I do notice that her neck is very loose, like here. Like, she can still hold poses, it's just very loose, suspiciously. But in terms of other joints, the usual shoulders, elbows, wrists, there's a waist joint as well that swivels, a hinged knee joint, hips, and that's about it, the usual badoos. So, for my final thoughts, I think this is a very good release for Cinderella. This doll is absolutely beautiful and it's a worthy commemoration to celebrate her 75th anniversary. I love that her hair color is now more accurate to what she looked like in the movie, and her face is absolutely stunning. She's so beautifully painted. I love the new sculpt of the shoe, and also because I don't have a 17-inch Cinderella doll in my collection that is in her silver white variant of her dress. What I have is the original 2012 doll, which is in her blue dress with a super blonde hair. And unfortunately, I don't have the Saxe doll either. So this doll is very great for collectors like me who also don't have the Saxe doll. You will get like a chance to have Cinderella in a more accurate hair color and in a more color accurate dress as well. So she's super awesome. And the only builds and notes I would give on her is that I wish she would have had her actual gloves instead of these long sleeves, especially because the sleeves are not even made out of like really good material. It feels really kind of playline to me. So I wish she would have just gotten her gloves. That would have been really nice. And another build I would give is from referencing the 2012 doll is that doll had gems on her headband, and she also had like a headpiece. So, I wish they would have done something for her head section as well, I do love that really simple approach of the ribbon choker, but the original doll also had like a much elaborate piece going on. So, I don't know, something along those lines would be my only builds and my only notes, but it's more of nitpicking. I'm absolutely happy with the doll the way she is. And to think that I almost skipped her because I don't get paid until the end of the month, and I literally don't have the money. So I was like, maybe I should just skip her, But then I was like, would I regret this? So I just kindly asked a friend of a help to help me get her first. So I'm really grateful to that friend. If you're watching, thank you so much. I will pay you back at the end of the month. But anyways, that is it for my review on the 75th limited edition Cinderella doll. So I really hope you guys enjoyed the video. Let me know your thoughts in the comments down below. Did you get her? What are your thoughts? Or if you haven't gotten her, I think she sold out pretty much everywhere at this point. So I would still recommend that you grab her up, even if you see it for a good price on the secondary markets. She will not disappoint. Anyways, you can also check me out on Instagram at Chaymie Creates for my toy photography. I just did a shoot for Cinderella with this doll and I can't wait to post it, so make sure you check me out over there. If you enjoyed the video, please like, thumbs up, subscribe, and share. It'll really help out my channel. But once again, thank you so much for watching, and I will see you all soon in my next video. Bye!